Claude now leaves an invisible mark on what it writes. Here's what that actually means for you, and the one place it changes nothing. So no Brielle today. This is a special episode because this one's personal. It's timely. And I want to talk to you the way I've talked to a friend who called me just a little freaked out. Here's what happened and what triggered me to do this episode on my day off and while preparing to send my niece back to college. Yesterday, I saw the headline about my beloved Anthropic. AI companies will now secretly watermark everything they write. And I watched it ripple through about every group chat and some comment sections that I'm in. The reaction was the same over and over again. A little jolt of panic, but then there was a wait. Is there a fingerprint on my own work? And am I about to get caught? And I got it because I use these tools every single day for my business and my corporate job and my actual life. So the question landed on me too, but here's the thing, Mama. Part of my job is data governance, and I do this every day. And reading a scary tech headline and figuring out what it actually means is literally my job. So I sat with this one, and what I found is a whole lot less scary and a whole lot more useful than the headline really made it sound. So let me be the friend who reads the fine print and explains it all. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to AI for Working Moms. I'm Lakeisha Holloway, and this is season 4 of the 10-Minute Agent. This season, the theme is, wait, AI can do that? Most of the time on this show, we build an agent from scratch to solve a problem. But here's the thing. You're already surrounded by tools that can do so much more than you're asking of them. Claude, Zoom, your calendar, the apps on your phone right now. And most of us are using only a small part of what they can actually do. So this season, I'm showing you something different, the unlock. Every episode, we take one tool you already have, find the one feature you may not have known existed, and turn it into a working agent in about 10 minutes. No new subscriptions, no overwhelm. Just that moment where you go, wait, AI can do that? Build with power, lead with trust. Let's get into it. So I want to name what it actually was because I felt it too for a second. It was guilt. That reflex where you assume you've done something you really need to hide. And I want to pull that up by the root right now because it's the wrong feeling pointed at the wrong thing. Here's what actually happened. This week, Anthropic, the company behind Claude, announced they are now putting an invisible watermark on the text their AI generates. And a lot of the coverage made it sound like a trap. It's not a trap. It's a label. And once you understand the difference between a trap and a label, the whole thing goes from scary to genuinely no big deal in almost every part of your life. So let me walk you through where it matters, where it doesn't, and why. Because the rules are not the same in every room you walk into. Here's why this matters for working moms. We're used to these tools in 3 completely different worlds: our jobs, our kids' school, and our own lives. And the rules are not the same in each one. The mistake almost everyone is about to make is treating this like a big scary rule that applies everywhere, and it doesn't. So instead of panicking, we're going to do the thing I always want you to do. Understand what's actually true. Decide where it matters to you and put down the fear that isn't yours to carry. Let's get the facts clean because the headlines were a bit messy. This week, Anthropic confirmed that Claude and models released after August 2nd would automatically add an invisible watermark to the text it generates. It's driven by a new European law, the EU AI Act, that says AI companies have to mark their output so it can be identified as machine-made. But even though it's a European law, Anthropic is applying it everywhere, so it affects you, or those of you who are in the United States too. Now, my podcast has viewers all over the world, so that's why I have to talk about it here. Two things you need to know about how this works. One, it's invisible. You will not see it. It's woven into the text itself, which means it travels when you copy and paste, and it can survive some light editing. Two, and this is the part almost nobody reported on correctly. It does not say an AI wrote this. It says an AI touched this. Two different things. Anthropic themselves said it only shows Claude had a hand in something. So if you wrote a paragraph and asked Claude to fix your grammar, that might carry the mark, even though every idea is yours. That distinction, touch, not authored, is the whole ballgame here. So hold on to that. Now, let's talk about the one place I want you to take this seriously. And it's not your job. It's the kitchen table at homework hour. If your kid is writing an essay, this matters, not because of the watermark, but because of what the watermark is for. This is the moment to teach them the real lesson, and it has nothing to do with getting caught. It's this. Your teacher assigned that essay to build your brain, not to receive a finished product. Using AI to do the thinking for you isn't cheating the system. It's robbing yourself of the workout. That's the conversation. It's integrity. Integrity isn't don't get caught. It's do the growing you were supposed to do. And the same is true for you, Mama. If you're back in school in an academic setting, the watermark just makes visible a line that was always there. So stay on the right side of it, not out of fear, but because the whole point of the degree is that you actually learn the thing. Here's the after connection here in this transparency. In school, transparency isn't a risk to manage. It's the entire assignment. You want your work to be honestly yours. Now, let me tell you about a conversation I would have with almost any woman I know. She's got a board presentation in the morning. The deck is beautiful. The thinking is sharp. And she used AI to help her build it. And she's up at 11 p.m., not reviewing her numbers, but worrying that someone will know it's AI. And I want to say to her what I'll say to you. That deck is exactly what you should be doing. Full stop. Here's why. And it's not who cares. It's better than that. At your job, you are not being graded on whether your fingers typed every word. You are being paid for your judgment. The strategy is yours. The read on the numbers, that's yours. The call about what the board actually needs to hear, yours. The information lives in your head, Mama, but you're not a graphic designer. You do not have 3 spare hours, and the value you carry into that room tomorrow has nothing to do with who nudged the text box over into place. Using Claude or Opus inside a Copilot to turn your thinking into a board-ready deck isn't hiding anything because there's nothing to hide. The expectation at work is a good deck that reflects good thinking delivered on time. You're meeting it. The watermark could be neon and it wouldn't change a thing because you never pretended a machine did your thinking. You used a machine to handle the formatting. Those are two different things, and only one of them is what you're being paid for. So I actually had this happen to me yesterday. I was reviewing a deck with a coworker and she said, "How do you get your decks to look so beautiful? I need to be using AI." I said, "You absolutely should be using it." I said, "Don't you have Opus?" And she was like, "No, I don't know." So I opened my Copilot, shared my screen, show her where the drop down was, auto, go all the way down. There were ChatGPT models, and then there were the Claude models. We have two of them. I said, I use Opus, and Opus is the one that is doing this, and I advise you to do the same because all it's going to do is save you time. She realized that model, Opus, was not even enabled in her Copilot. So she called IT immediately to get it added. So what I want you all to do is just release the guilt for this one. At work, using AI to execute on your ideas faster isn't a secret to protect. Listen, AI is not going to replace you at work, mama. The person that leverages AI will, okay? It's just good sense. If you're up at 11 p.m. trying to worry about whether the board will know it's AI, girl, you worried about the wrong thing. They want a sharp deck and a leader who knows her business. Give them that and go get yourself a good night's rest. So here's how transparency actually works in real life, because this week proves it's not one rule. It's a dial you set based on just where you are. You cannot govern what you cannot see. Now this week, there's one more thing that's visible. A mark on AI-generated text. Good. More light is fine by me. But visibility is not the same as shame. The watermark doesn't decide whether you did something wrong. The context does. In school, transparency is the assignment. So you keep your work honestly your own. At work, transparency is already satisfied because using AI to format your thinking is expected and fine. There's nothing to disclose because there's nothing hidden. And one honest caution, because I always give you the real picture here. The detection tool for this isn't even fully out yet, and paraphrasing can wipe the mark entirely. So don't let anyone, a school, an employer, a nervous headline, treat this as some perfect lie detector. It is not. It shows AI had a hand in something. It does not prove who did the thinking. And the thinking, mama, is the only part that was ever really yours to protect. Here's your one action step this week. Have the conversation, the right one, with the person in your house this applies to. If you got a kid in school, and schools are starting all over the country between now and a lot of them started in the July, early August, all the way into September. So this is the perfect time to start sitting your kids down, having a conversation about integrity and growing your own brain, not about getting caught. It's important our kids learn early that integrity is what you do when no one is watching. And if the person who needs to hear it is you, the mom quietly feeling guilty about the deck, the email, the thing you got help with at work, then here's your permission slip. You use a tool to do your job faster. That's not a confession. That's a Tuesday. Now, come on over to the AI Confidence Playground and tell me where you land on this, because I know some of you disagree with me and I want to hear it. It's okay. It's a place where we all can disclose whatever information that we want to about this. Where's your line in all of this? That's the real conversation I want to have with you. So the link for that is in the show notes. Here's what I want you to walk away with. A watermark is just the label. It doesn't know if you cheated or if you are just brilliant and effective, which you all are. That, of course. Only the context knows that, and you know the context. So teach your kids that lesson. Do your job without apology and stop carrying a guilt that was never yours to hold. You got this, mama. I'll see you in the next episode of the 10-Minute Agent. Thank you for listening to AI for Working Moms. If today's episode gave you one thing you can actually use this week, do me a quick favor. Follow the show and leave a review. It's the simplest way to help another working mom find us. And if building an agent still feels out of reach, start with my free 10-Minute Agent Workbook. It walks you through building your very first AI teammate, start to finish, in about 10 minutes. That's the foundation everything in this series is built on. You'll find it at aiconfidenceblueprint.com/10-minute agent. Then come practice with us in the AI Confidence Playground. It's a free Facebook group where we learn and build real confidence with AI together. Want to know where you and your kids stand with AI right now? I've got 2 quick quizzes for that. Every link I mention lives in the show notes and at my podcast resource hub. Here's what I want you to remember, Mama. You don't have to do everything, and you don't have to do it all at once. You can excel professionally without sacrificing your family on the altar of success. This is AI for Working Moms, because the future of work should work for moms too. I'll meet you in the next episode.